Hi guys and welcome back. This is the continuation of a previous video, but we will have a look at a specific middle game topic, which is opposite color bishops in the middle game, and that's why I dedicated a whole new video to this topic. If you want to see the first part of the game, you can check out the other video which I linked here. So we will start from here as we stopped here last time, but we will skip the next few moves because it's not part of what we will have a look at here. So g5, my opponent tried to continue his attack, although the center was too open to justify that. I tried to trade off the good knight and now tried to activate my bishop, which is the first thing I want to note. If you have opposite colored bishops in the middle game, it's very important to get a good bishop, because otherwise your opponent is basically playing with one extra piece. So in this situation, my plan is to do something like bishop is going here to b5, maybe come to e4. That would be the ideal square. Also, I have some ideas to enter here, maybe with the queen in some instances, and also be ready to activate all the other pieces. In general, activity and attack is a very important theme in opposite colored bishop middle games, as when we are attacking, we often can attack with one extra piece, because once we attack him on the light squares, he will just not be defending with this dark swept bishop. So the first decision I want to give to you is after the move f6, which was played by my opponent. He's moving this pawn one step further, and black needs to make a game changing direction, and he must decide how to react. Should he move the pawn to g6? Should he take? Or should he just keep it and let white take on g7 and do something in the meantime, for example moving the rook, or anything you can come up with. So that's a choice. Three options: take, keep the tension, or move the pawn forward. Take your time and we will discuss the solution or all the possibilities. So let's start with the best move, which was also played in the game, which is g6. This, if you decided not to go for, you might have reason that it looks very dangerous. Once the white queen will come here, we will be checkmated. And that's basically true, but the big argument against it is it might just not happen, and it takes a lot of time, and we will be ready to meet this plan. How? I will not tell yet. You will discover yourself later. The big upside of this move, however, is that it also secures a safe spot for our bishop on f5, and thus our bishop can come to e4 very easily, which would not be the case if we wouldn't play g6. If we would, for example, take, there would be no chance to play bishop f5 anytime soon, and we wouldn't activate our own bishop. Also, one thing to note after g6 is that once white puts his bishop here, it might look activated, but it's actually not that active on e5, as this diagonal is closed, and the bishop has no real scope looking into our king's position, which would be quite different in case we would take. Just imagine black takes, white takes. If now the bishop would come to e5, it would be very serious trouble. So by playing g6, we also keep the position around our king a bit more closed, and thus our king is safer, and there is just one way to enter, which is like queen here, queen here, queen here, and queen g7. But this, as we will soon see, is too slow. Let's have a look at the third option. Something like rook e8. White can now take here, and the idea must certainly be not to take here, because otherwise, white is just crushing, but to protect and to use this pawn as a shield, because now the white queen is not able to checkmate us on g7, because the g7 square is blocked by white's own pawn. But still, it's a pawn and we can never take it, and white maybe has some other ideas. Also, in addition, we needed to go passive with our own bishop covering the f7 pawn, and thus we don't get that great activity, so it's nothing special for black either. So the only way to fight for an advantage even is to go g6, which happened in the game and which we will see how it continued. My opponent here played queen f2, I played bishop f5, getting ready to put the bishop here, and yeah, white played bishop to f4, I played check first and queen to b6. Now at this point we will have a look at how to counter white's idea of playing queen to h4. Take your time, try to think about how to meet this plan, how will we get counterplay, or can we maybe even prevent white's ideas once and forever. So we will continue with the solution. Of course, there are some very concrete ideas like taking here, threatening mate, which is actually possible, I think, in this position. White has no good response there, must retreat with the queen. But in general, there is also another motive which works all the time, and we'll see it in the game as well, which is playing h5, which just basically does not let the queen in, and after takes we just block with king h7. King is very safe, there is no way to enter for any heavy piece, and finally we will be the one who has a much easier play here because the white king is wide open and he cannot keep it closed. However, of course, we can take here first as we threaten checkmate, and also rook f2 is just not possible because the rook in the corner would drop, and if the queen retreats we don't even need to play h5 yet, we can do it later. So that would be it. But keep this motive in mind. With h5 we really keep the king side closed, and thus our king has great safety on h7. So I will show you the rest of the game. Rook c1 was played, rook c8, bishop e5. Now I tried to get in here, also tried to trade all the rooks, because even in a queen bishop ending, white's king will be in severe mating danger all the time, whereas my king is pretty safe. Let's see how the game went. Queen h4, h5, and the blockade we had been talking about. And now white had nothing to do there with the queen, thus retreated to g3. I traded all the rooks, white went rook c3, took, and queen b6. Now my queen is threatening to enter on either the first or the second rank, and even though white managed not to get mated, I just collected a pawn and then converted the game by just moving the pawns, creating a second weakness. The first weakness is the weakness of the king, always needs protection against a checkmate by the queen, and the bishop will be on its own, defending against the passers. For example, this passer can't be taken because the bishop would drop after queen b1 check. But yeah, the pawns are too strong and the bishop won't manage. Also here, bishop must take, but cannot really take because it will be lost after this sequence of checks, and black won the game. So what to keep in mind in middle game positions with opposite color bishops is, first, try to get the active bishop, and second, there is very good attacking chances all the time, because once you're attacking on the color of your bishop, you have one attacker more than your opponent has. That's it for this video. I hope I could give you some insights to that kind of middle game. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.